Hi everyone. So today I'm filming my April wrap-up. In April I read 2 books and 6 mangas. As you can tell from those numbers, I didn't really have a good reading month because I tend to read a lot of mangas when I'm not in a reading mood, because mangas are just easier to read and faster to read for me. So the first book that I read in April was The Midnight Library. I had very high expectations for this book because a lot of people hyped it up a lot, and I don't know how to feel about it. As you can tell from the amount of tabs I have on this book, there are a lot of good things said in this book that I wanted to, be able to look back on. The problem is that I think that this book is not really meant for people like me. Like, this book is all about a woman who struggles with her mental health. And yeah, I can't really explain this book without saying certain words that will get this video like age restricted. So just look up what this book is about. It is very interesting and it is quite a fast read because it is quite short, but I don't think it's meant for people like me who struggle with like depression and have been struggling with depression for a very long time, because a lot of these quotes are very nice, very motivational, you can say. Like, oh, there is a point in staying alive in this world. But, me, a person who's been depressed since I was like 8 and who's been struggling with dark thoughts ever since then, a lot of these quotes just fall flat. Like, I do really like them, but I'm not gonna take the advice, Like I said this in my Goodreads review as well, that I really struggle to like rate this book because I do like it, but I'm not gonna use any of the, motivational things that were being said. I'm not gonna use any of that, and I don't know how to feel about it. So I do recommend it, but yeah, I just don't know how to feel about it. So yeah. Then next I read the first volume of Please Don't Toy With Me, Nagato, which I don't know which title to use. I feel like this manga has like 15 different titles. But yeah, I read the first volume of this because the anime was starting to air, and it still is airing currently. And I also read the second volume when more episodes started airing. I already read these volumes before, but I just reread them because I wanted to see how I feel about it. Because I feel like this manga has a very particular audience that they're trying to get, and I do not fall into that audience. And I'm really intrigued by this manga and the anime, obviously. The story is really interesting. It's basically about this guy who is very like shy and introverted, and he doesn't really know how to talk to girls. And then this girl, Nagato, who like bullies him basically. But it's the kind of bullying that you look at it and you're like, is that flirting? Is she flirting with him? I will probably continue to read this manga and watch the anime just because I want to know what happens to them. Like, I know that with mangas like this, you usually don't really get a conclusion or like a relationship very fast. It usually takes like, 100 years for them to get together. But I feel like them getting together will actually that will actually be something that I look forward to, because I just want to see what they would be like in a relationship. Because again, she bullies him constantly. And so I wonder if she stops doing that once he starts like standing up for himself. I don't think I would recommend these mangas because they're not for everyone. I don't even know if they're for me, but I do enjoy reading it. So yeah, if you want to read it, go ahead, I guess. Also, I gave both of these volumes around like 3.5 stars, 4 stars, something like that. Then next I read a BL manga, which is basically like a boy love manga. I read Golden Sparkle again. I already read it, but I saw it on like my mangas that I read list on Goodreads, and I was like, I don't remember what this was about at all. and all that I made as like a review was like the art is good. And I'm like, okay, what was the story about? So I reread it, and again, the art is like the main thing that I think is really good. It's the reason why I actually read another work by this author, which is I Didn't Mean to Fall in Love. The art for this one was even better in my opinion. It's really beautiful, like the way the characters are drawn. It's so beautiful. Yeah, like the plot is okay. I honestly already again forgot what the plot was about for both of these mangas, but oh well. Yeah, again, I wouldn't say I recommend this stuff unless you like reading BL, which then I recommend it, I guess, but if you don't, then don't read it. Yeah, I gave both of these, again, like a 3-star, 4-star rating, I think. Then next, I read 2 volumes of Cassaisan. This is basically about 2 girls who fall in love, and by the end of the first volume, they start dating. And yeah, it's just about their relationship. Again, just like with the boy love mangas, with this one, I was looking for manga that I could read without really like turning my brain on. Some, mindless reading, because again, I was very stressed about not having a phone because there was a lot of issues with that. So yeah, I just wanted some mindless reading, and I did enjoy these ones a lot more than the boy love mangas I just mentioned. I really need more like sapphic like mangas. I don't know if that's the correct word to use in this context. Like I know sapphic is the correct word, but can you call it a sapphic manga? I don't know. But yeah, I did really enjoy this. It's very cute. The art is a bit, interesting at times, but it is very good. The story is quite good. I stopped reading after like the middle of volume 3 just because people were saying that at the end of like volume 3 they start like getting like jealousy issues and like miscommunication issues, and I didn't want to read about that because again, I wanted some mindless reading, not me stressing about this fictional relationship, It was very good. I think I gave both of them 4 stars. I'm not sure. But I did really like it, and again, I really want to read more like sapphic manga, so yeah. Then the last book that I read in the month of April, out of the 2 that I read, this is the last book that I read, which is A Kind of Spark. I really, really enjoyed this book. This is now one of my all-time favorite books. I read this because I was planning on reading a lot of like books by autistic authors and with autistic characters for that month, but because my phone broke, I couldn't do it because I was planning a lot of videos for that month, so that's very sad. But I did end up reading this book just because I really, really just needed a very autism positive book, because there was a lot of stuff going on during Autism Acceptance Month, a lot of ableism towards autistic people, and I just needed some happiness. I just needed some autistic people being happy, and that's what this book gave me. It's a book about this girl named Addie, and she learns in school about the witch trials that went on in her town, and how a lot of these women that were trialed as witches and murdered because everyone thought that they were witches, all of these women that she learns about all seem just like her. So, neurodivergent people, more specifically, especially autistic people. A lot of autistic women basically died back then because they were trialed as witches, and Addie learns about that. And because she's quite young, I think she's like about 11 years old, because she's so young, she obviously very much struggles to deal with the fact that if she lived during that time, she would have been trialed as a witch and she would have died, which I also really struggled with that idea as I was reading this book. It's something that I'm very aware of as well, that even if I wasn't born during a time where like people believed in witches, if I was just born like 100 years ago, I would have still likely been killed or sent to some kind of like facility where they tried to not make me autistic. It's a very difficult thing to deal with, obviously, especially for a young girl. And this book is all about her and trying to get the people in her town to take responsibility for doing that to these women. It's a very lovely book. I highly recommend it. I could rant about it for like 10 minutes, but I'm not going to do that. I give it 5 out of 5 stars, obviously, because like I said, this is now one of my all-time favorite books. I can't wait to read more of this author. I also have another book by her, and I really want to make a video of me reading that. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. Also, I just want everyone to like appreciate how pretty this book is and how like the tabs in the colors of the book really add to it. It gives me a lot of joy to look at this book, and I'm really glad I did the two-toned like tab thing, because I usually don't do that. I usually choose one color and that's it. Like I don't color coordinate them, but yeah, I'm really glad I did this. It looks really pretty like this. I really like looking at it. This is just one of those books that I just want to like buy for everyone, but I don't have the money to do that. So I'm just gonna think about a reality where I could do that. For the people that I buy it, where they actually read it, but they likely won't, because I don't really have anyone in my life that likes reading. So yeah, I highly recommend this book, like I already said. It's very good, and it's very autism positive, except for some characters. But they, you know, get put in their place, kind of. You can't really change people's minds about autism very quickly, but yeah, it's quite an autism positive book. I really recommend it. I'm gonna stop ranting about it now, and I'm gonna end this video. So that was everything that I read in April. Like I already said in my March wrap-up, I'm really sorry for these videos being like quite late, but again, my phone broke, so I couldn't film a lot of videos in time. I will try getting onto a schedule more and try to put out at least one video a week, if I can, that is, if my body allows that at least. But yeah, if you have watched until the end of this video and throughout that entire rant of me talking about a kind of spark, I really appreciate that. I really appreciate you sticking through this video and supporting me by watching my videos. As I'm filming this, I'm at 38 subscribers, and I'm very excited by that. I never thought that anyone would watch my channel. I appreciate every single person that watches my videos, and yeah, bye.